It's possible. But I will do everything in my control to ensure time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Behold! I hear everything!
At the fragment! My apologies!
The wind rises. Upon the gale. Too
Paimon has a question. After this...
I don't know. But I feel using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still,
No! Paimon's got a brain! But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few non-alchemy related disciplines I'm any good at. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got to... Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth... Fascinating. And this floating child is... connected to your body in some way?
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between them? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springfield to flow backwards. No, that...
Hey, how would you...
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in her research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answer. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine exactly how it manifests externally. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them using...
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is naturally if you require...
Take flight!
Eat this!
Let's nip that in the bud. You're dead! You dare to gaze upon me?
Boba, get them!
Behold!
Great work. If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Now that we know that the external
results, inferences, and a few daring guesses. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relation. Consider, you don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregis vine, or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult.
Yes, sir.
After all, we've got our primary data already. This traveler is a visitor from another world. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world...
Ah, it would. Apologies, I was so excited to... Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more.
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already.
Oh, this was the result. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling but if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary
So you knew you'd be sick and...
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, in conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to... The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference. People are the same, they can understand when you're sick. But a peculiar person, for example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregis vine, or an eye of the storm. Have I explained it clearly enough? To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to... Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. What?
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a...
Is he trying to join the Knights? What Paimon meant to say was...
Before we could... If you're interested, why not have a... Too slow.
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed to find an everyday use for them. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can... But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even... leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any... I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next... No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that, like, impossible?
I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It... anyway, why don't you cook us...
Cooking?
Not only is this recipe a staple for me...
That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good.
I'll leave you to it then. If there's any...
How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food? Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does he get these ideas from anyway? Let's just do it the old-fashioned way.
That was fat. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, unless...
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a...
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use, and here's your portion.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Not that Paimon would have been...
Hey! You were being nice a second, but you do have tasty recipes. And you're right, we are good friends.
Yes. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me.
Paimon's barely finished eating, and you want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to... If you had, say, superpower, I must have dropped them.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah!
Quit following me.
This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animal crystal fly can only...
Goodness. You managed to... I'm wondering... This...
Yep.
Unfortunately, though elementals only a never-before-seen otherworldly...
You mean... we've...
Don't be disheartened. Thus far, I have to commend your deduction that the item... Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. In essence, looking out from where we're standing. Can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, could you... So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then could you see her? Then I shouldn't get too excited. I know of a location that will be perfect for a